Greetings all, welcome to Detroit, and I'm in a parking lot of American Rheinmetall, and standing next to me is CEO Matt. So I think Rheinmetall, the only American connection I tend to get is the M256 cannon, which kind of started off in that area. But now American Rheinmetall, you're 1,400 employees here in Detroit.
Yeah,
What's the backstory? How did we go from where we were, say, 5 years ago to where we are now?
Sure. So Rheinmetall has actually been in the U.S. for decades.
Okay.
So we started off mostly in our munitions and electronic solutions group. And then in 2019, we saw a critical need for basically more industrial-based capability related to the ground vehicle market. So in 2019, it also coincided with the original release of the optionally manned fighting vehicle, which is now XM30 RFP, and when I came to be employee one at Rheinmetall. So it was a strategic effort to take product portfolio that we've developed outside of the United States, bring it to the U.S., tailor it to the U.S. customer and their requirements. And you've seen that in CTT, which you'll walk through. You'll see that in XM30 in terms of the program development and several other robotics programs that we've been working.
And how does that differ? Because there's presumably a perfectly good R&D and technical engineering crowd in Germany for Rheinmetall.
100%.
Why is it easier for you to have a duplicate facility, for lack of a better term, here in North America?
Well, it's not about duplication. One, it's about proximity to the customer. Two, in terms of the requirements, there's very specific requirements for any customer, be it Germany, be it the United Kingdom, be it Australia, all places where we have landed footprints. But in the U.S. in particular, you have classified requirements, so we need to be able to manage those. But you also have very specific U.S. I like to say a lot of times the U.S. is deploying instead of defending basically sovereign territory here. And so that drives different requirements like NATO-M tunnel, which we'll talk about in terms of CTT, transportability requirements in terms of airlift, because there's different airlift in European countries than there is in the U.S. And so you have to make those adjustments. But we're very good at leveraging, if you will, the collective spend of the organization to draw down the costs that I incur here when we're tailoring those solutions. And we do some things here ourselves, like the turret for XM30 was 100% designed in that building right behind you.
So does American Rheinmetall just focus on U.S. or is it America's North and South?
We have a predominant customer, which is the Department of Defense in the United States, but we will support regardless, also mainly through FMS contracts. So those brokered by the U.S. government for U.S. products that we can then export. And given our footprint, we've found it's better to be aligned to our customer with physical locations and personnel in those areas. So the South Americas are not necessarily in our purview, but we will support our colleagues if there's anything that we need to.
So as the XM30 program continues, and now you've got the truck contract, what's next? Where are you focusing on after that?
There's a lot of effort in terms of robotics. So we're doing a lot. HEMMTT is a program that we're very focused on in terms of delivering new capabilities. Autonomy is a big thrust. We need to get these platforms to be unmanned. So one of the capabilities we have on CTT is putting our autonomous application system on it.
Okay.
And so we're leveraging that across many different programs because I can put it on any vehicle in terms of how we move forward. And then in addition, beyond that, we're looking at artillery. We have a long pedigree in munitions, cannons, and the actual systems themselves. And so we have a collaboration going with another partner of ours in terms of artillery. So we have a lot of opportunity in terms of the breadth and depth of Rheinmetall.
So when you start producing things en masse, let's say you win the XM30 contract,
Sure.
or we start making more of these trucks, where's the physical production happening?
So we have multiple sites right now. In November of last year, November 30th to be exact, we closed an acquisition of what was Lock Performance at that time.
Okay.
And so with that acquisition, we picked up a little over 2 million square feet of manufacturing space, 3 sites here in Michigan, 1 site down in Ohio, in St. Mary's, Ohio. And across those, we have some of the largest metal brake presses. And now Rheinmetall has content pretty much on every vehicle in the Armored Brigade combat team, be it from tracks to final drives to power takeoff units to hull structures and turret structures. We excel in those areas. So we basically are now capable of providing everything from a prime level product all the way down to basically subcomponent assemblies to the U.S. government or our partners in the defense industrial base.
So what sort of people are you looking to hire?
We're hiring a lot. So we're always looking for talent, and it's across all the functional areas. I have a strong interest in engineering, right? Rheinmetall has very compelling products and product lines, and we need strong engineering talent to support that. be it electronic engineers, be it systems engineers. Modeling and simulation is something that we believe in terms of development, in terms of the product. So modeling and sim, and then obviously the functional areas to support the business, be it finance, be it HR, across those areas. There's a link, arvjobs.com, where all our jobs are posted, and I encourage people to take a look.
Anything for a too-tall tanker who might be retiring soon?
I think you'd like the size of our vehicle, and it's more ergonomic, but yes, you're welcome to come out and apply anytime.
So last couple of years, there have been some significant movements in the arms industry. So how has the larger presence of American Rheinmetall in North America either affected it or been affected by these larger factors?
Well, I would say our presence is adding competition. And it's one of the things that excites me the most about American Rheinmetall is if you looked at the defense industrial base, and we still have it, there's been an over consolidation in terms of the number of primes that are out there. We're very concentrated, which limits the defense industrial base's ability to scale. And if you will, there's a lack of, I would say, some of the commercial aspects of assuming risk and making an investment to provide the best products to those in harm's way. And I love the fact that we're adding that. So we add competition in terms of, if you looked at the ground vehicle market, there was really two main providers.
BAE, GDLS, that's it.
Correct. If you looked at tactical wheel vehicles, there was really one, and that was Oshkosh.
Oshkosh.
So you're talking about a duopoly, a monopoly. If you expand a Rheinmetall's overall product portfolio, cannons, unbelievably constrained. We are the best cannon provider in the world. If you look at munitions in terms of what we do from a propellant all the way to projectile, we're exceptional. So the competition, because of the breadth of product we have, the breadth of experience that we have, has really, I think, energized, especially in Southeast Michigan, because of our presence, the defense industrial base in terms of what we're providing and pushing each other in terms of providing the best products for soldiers and Marines.
So you're basically investing in production, development, design, everything within North America.
Yeah, I mean, we completed the acquisition. It was just under $1 billion last year. We had significant capital investment planned on top of it, roughly about $80 million over 2 years, and we're adding to that. Because of the international dynamic, I will say rather matter of factly, our stock has performed exceptionally well, and we're generating a lot of cash and cash flow. And we're redeploying that in key markets where we want to continue to grow to support our customers, be it in Europe or here in the US. I mean, American Rheinmetall at its core was originally just an investment and a belief that we could enter this market. And now we've established our presence and we want to continue to grow.
Good luck to you then.
Well,
in the meantime, I see a truck I'm kind of eager to clamber over.
Absolutely. Well, you enjoy it and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so we move to the truck, and to help me explore the truck is Dave, the program manager for the Common Tactical Truck. Dave, how did you end up here?
So I retired from the military in 2022.
Okay.
And I had a long history with the trucks. So I was a program manager for the actual truck system that's currently fielded to the military.
The HEMMTT.
The HEMMTT,
And the
PLS,
NMTV. Oh, the
HET.
Okay.
I fielded all of those.
Oh, okay.
That was back in 2010. So all those systems are getting a little bit of age on them. And so the Army's come up with new requirements, and this is why they've come up with a common tactical truck. They want to have less trucks.
Yeah.
They want to have more commerciality, but they also want to have the same mobility as the current fleet. So we fit that balance very well.
So when you say fewer trucks, you mean fewer types of trucks?
Fewer types of trucks. So, for instance, the common tactical truck program right now, they asked us to build 3 different variants. This is the load handling system.
Okay.
We built a line haul tractor, and we built an off-road tractor.
Okay.
So this would replace the PLS. It carries 16.5 tons. It also replaces an 1120 HEMMTT, which has a similar load capacity or smaller load capacity,
Right.
but the same mission. And then also the line haul truck, which is the old 915 Freightliner.
Right.
We built one to replace that. And we built one to replace the 916, which is more of an engineer function truck.
So, I mean, me being a tanker, I think HEMMTT, I think fuel tanker.
Yeah.
So is it going to be a case you can have a containerized fuel tank that goes on the back of this? So the PLS will be the the HEMMTT tanker as well?
It can do all of those things. So if it's a palletized load, whether it's ammunition or fuel or water, this truck can lift it and transport it. They still have a desire to build hard-standing fuel systems, so we can adapt to that. And again, this truck is this is the HX truck. It's being utilized in 20 different countries across the world, all over Europe, Singapore, Japan, and it's done quite well. So because of its history, it already has those variants already built and being utilized by other countries. So we're just going to leverage that and bring it into America.
And was that a factor in the competition that you already had these, or
It
was
was.
the Army willing to start from scratch?
Well, the competition was based off of, they always look at your experience. And
Yeah.
so we leaned really heavily on that. And again, I mentioned the commerciality piece. So this truck was built by RMMV. So it's Rheinmetall Manned Military Vehicles. So it's a joint venture between Rheinmetall, our head company, and MAN, Truck and Bus out of Germany.
It even looks like a man. I mean,
So it's kind of funny. But so what they did is they created this joint venture in 2010. And we utilized the best stuff coming off the MAN, Truck and Bus. So that's why it has all these new features that were requirements for the government.
Yeah.
So it has all these ADAS features, blind spot monitoring. You'll get to see that. It has adaptive cruise control, emergency braking. It has bird's eye view. So you'll see all those things when we'll take a look inside the truck. This particular one, like I said, is LHS, and we're going to show that functionality of that dropping a 20-foot container and bringing it back up.
Well, I think that's a perfectly good segue to start looking at the truck itself. And don't worry, I will ask you more questions
okay.
about the features as we go around.
No problem.
Okay, I figure we'll start with the suspension and wheels, because obviously the difference between a tactical truck and a regular truck is this thing is not going to stay on the pavement.
Right.
So how much effort and change goes into the HX3 compared to the earlier versions of HX that, as you say, have already been seeing service around the world?
Yes. So for this particular truck, to meet the requirements for the CTT, we had these 16 R20 tires, which are currently used in the PLS and the HEMMTT. It carries more weight capacity, and it gives you that mobility. So we selected these tires for this particular thing. Same thing with the suspension. So it has a leaf spring suspension, not an airbag suspension, and it gives it great mobility, whether you're going down in the berms or you're going into ravines, and it's a very comfortable ride. We're going to look inside the cabin. You'll see that it's very comfortable and ergonomic inside, and it's complemented by the rideability and the comfort given by the suspension.
Is the suspension independent?
It's no. So it's got a solid axle,
Okay.
but they do have independent leaf springs on either side.
Okay.
The other piece of this is it has a CTIS system, which you may be familiar with.
Just to
pretty common.
deflate the tire to
So
go
it
off
can
road.
inflate
Yeah.
all different areas.
And is it a permanent all-wheel drive? Do you deselect a couple of
You can
wheels?
select any set depending on the mission and what you need.
So in theory, you could run on just the last two axles.
Well, mainly I think there's one drive line.
Yeah.
There's one, but you can operate all four depending on the terrain that you need to go into.
So when you're testing the off-road capability, or it's being tested by the Army,
Yeah.
is there a set level of, I don't know what you call it, a bumpiness factor that the things have to traverse? Or is there like, here is the test course that you will be driving.
Yeah.
Make sure you can complete it. How does that work?
Correct. So there are a bunch of half rounds, big pieces of concrete that they go over at a certain speed. They test it at different speeds. And the driver, whether he's bouncing his head off the ceiling or not, is a good determinant. So that's one thing that they do. They also do this thing called a Belgian block, which is basically
Little squares, aren't
exactly squares, and they're going over that at various speeds. And they test that same thing. And they have instrumentation that they put on here, not just the person's subjectivity, to get data so that they can read that and feed that back to us in our test report.
So what was the nature of the test course? Presumably there is a set standard course that all the different competitors are trialed on to make sure the suspension is capable enough.
That's correct. So as we mentioned, so Belgian block, there's a half round. It also has to traverse a 2-foot step. So it has to go up to the step and go up and over the step. It has to do that in reverse as well.
Okay.
And then there's a fording capability. It has to ford up to 48 inches. So this truck did that very well. And then another, hence having the suspension and the tires of that. help with that.
So when the Army gave you the list of requirements, I presume they prioritized them a little bit. So where in the level of priority were things like affordability, miles between failures over load capacity, or suspension, effectiveness?
So that's a good question. So for this particular go round, the government was very clear that it wasn't a competition in the strict sense of the word. So they weren't going to pick a winner out of this. They had basic standard requirements that they had us to build our truck against.
Right.
We did that, and then they reported that out to us on the back end. So we talked about the rideability. We talked about the affordability, having it go up different grades. So there's various, and then they had some endurance riding that they had to do.
Right.
So, and then carrying the different loads. This particular one also has a 16.5 ton trailer behind it. So it had to go up a hill doing that at different various speeds. And then they tested the emergency braking system, which is really good. They hadn't tested ADAS before, to my knowledge. And so they had to test all these different features that we're going to look at a little bit later.
Is the capacity the same on-road and off-road?
It is.
All right.
It is. Yep.
All right, so let's see what else. So obviously, next thing then is a very large radiator, it looks like. Or is that a cooling system?
It is. So this is we call it a cooling tower, but it is a radiator system. It also houses hydraulics to support working with the load handling system.
So is this a cab over design, or is the engine back here as well?
The engine is right underneath the cab. So it's a traditional, as you'd see in an American vehicle.
Okay. All right, so below the cooling tower, then we have these sensors, it looks like.
So again, this is one of the ADAS features. So it has blind side monitoring, just like you'd find in your car. So it can sense all these different things on either side. It's on both sides. Keep the driver safe.
Will it drive itself?
Yes, in a way. So Rheinmetall is a technology company,
Okay.
and we're huge into autonomy. We have the autonomy program called Path A, the Path A kit.
Okay.
And it's been utilized a lot in Canada. It's been put on 18 different types of vehicles. This particular truck had that kit on it, and it won the European 2024 European land robot trials.
Okay.
So 2 trucks doing leader follower with that on there, and you can have a driver in the seat while the truck is maneuvering, or you can have it working remotely.
So it's not a guy in the truck ahead with a radio control. It's quite literally, okay, a human driver, going to start the convoy, and then the next 2 or 3 trucks in the convoy behind could be autonomous.
Yes, it does leader follower. So we initially did the one that the Army had, which was a B kit that you add into the system.
Yeah.
And you have a driver, not really, he's sitting inside the truck.
Safety guy.
Safety guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we demonstrated that years ago. But now we're moving on to our Path Kit, which pretty much turns any vehicle, your Ford Ranger, my FJ Cruiser, turns it into an autonomous vehicle. So it's a great capability. So there's more we want to do here. And we've just opened 3 centers of excellence.
Okay.
We're planning to open 3 centers of excellence on autonomy in Europe. We just announced that earlier this year. So very serious about that.
All right, so I'm looking at your standard 20-foot Connex.
Correct.
I presume it's a traditional type of LHS that it just drops ramp and, well, not drops ramp, drops the thing, rolls it off the back.
Correct. Yep. So this has a slide. So the whole system is going to lift it up, push it down on the ground, and pull it back up. It's got a roller system in the back to ease the load down and to pull it up. And this is adjustable. You can also put flat racks on here, and not just a Connex. Anything that's mounted on either one of those can go on this truck.
Yeah. So basically, as long as you got the connector here, you hold it in place.
That's correct.
Not a small fuel tank.
Not a small fuel tank. These things have a lot of range. So this one's configured for JP8,
Okay.
which is a standard fuel for the Army. Yeah, but this is a multi-fuel engine. So again, originally a European design. So they don't use JP8 over in Europe. They use F24, or they can use regular diesel fuel.
So is it a true multi-fuel in that you just put it in and it burns, or do you need to do some tweaking to
You
the
have to
engine?
tweak it.
You have to tweak it a bit.
So yeah, tell it what it's going to accept. JP8 is a dirty fuel.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure things are set up for it to accept that.
How long does, I presume you've had this long enough that you can figure out how long a PMCS takes.
Yeah.
So Private Snuffy is given his brand new truck. Every morning he's got to do his before operational service checks.
Yeah, so you caught me on that. I don't know the exact amount of time, but I do know there's a lot of functions that we can do within the truck without getting out and doing it. You'll see that display inside, but there's a lot of things. Like, for instance, there's no dipstick
Okay.
that you would access normally. This whole thing lifts up.
Yeah.
And you can get to the engine.
Okay.
But we rely on a chip light. We believe that the technology is good enough that the truck can self-report on things like that, and so it's the PMCS is a little bit different, and it is rather quick.
Does it lean to predictive maintenance, or is it still you wait for it to break?
That's the next. So I think the PMCS. First of all, let me address the reliability.
Okay.
The truck is very reliable. We have not only these systems that were talked about in the field, we have a previous generation being utilized at NTC. So it is in U.S. Army hands. There are about 5 of them, and they're going to go to the other training centers across the world, to include the one in Germany.
Yeah.
So that first one's been out for a year. I've asked them, there have been no reports of any concerns. So the reliability is very good. Working in an arid environment like that, in the box all the time.
Lots of dust to get into things.
Right.
Yeah.
So lots of good reports from them on that. So.
All right, let's see what else we got. Right. Multi-lift.
Yeah, so this is more of
for
the
this,
function. It is.
Oh, okay.
So all these functionalities here really work for the load handling system. Yep. It's a fire extinguisher. Okay. Fire extinguisher here.
So is this considered like a bogey, or are
Yes.
these? Okay, it is a bogey. Okay.
It is. Yep. Now we also have. So what's unique about Rheinmetall, for the Common Tactical Truck program, we wanted to present 8x8s across the board.
Okay.
We do have the ability to do 4x4, 6, 8, and even 10.
Yeah.
So we can go larger if we need to. And that for the 10x10, you also have the ability, like the PLS, to have an articulating axle on the back if you want to increase the improvement of the turning radius.
But now all the Army said we just want the 8x8 and no other variants.
So they gave us an option. It just said, come as you are.
Okay.
Right. And as long as it can perform the mission, and they gave us very particular criteria for each of the legacy fleets, and they said it's got to perform this or better. As long as it did that, it didn't matter. But this was our offer.
Yeah. Just in case that one isn't big enough, you get a bit more. So does it have a night driving capability, or is it just somebody wears a set of headset and nods?
So there was not a requirement at this phase to have blackout lights, so we didn't do that.
Okay.
But you would have the ability to do that. Now it has a camera back here, and you'll see inside. When you're backing up, hooking up to a PLS T trailer, it'll do that, and then of course the controls for those pieces here. And then it'll handle anything with a pedal.
So if this is replacing HEMMTT, I think how many different hundreds of variation of HEMMTT there are, from the wrecker version to well, eventually it's a long-term plan that this will be offered in similar capacities.
Yes. So there are about 16 different variants of the HEMMTT and PLS. So I think they're going to bring it in slowly, and so they've chosen really 5. The 3 we already talked about. The wrecker system, a fueler, and a cargo.
Okay.
So all those are going to be part of the original rollout. Now they can change that. Again, we're waiting for the final requirements to come out. The draft RFP is supposed to come out in September, and then a final RFP around May of next year. So we'll know specifically what they.
Is there any indication on raw numbers?
So the initial tranche will be a $5.7 billion contract.
Yeah.
7,200 vehicles. We don't have a model mix yet, but it'll be probably a variation of all the ones we just mentioned. And then long term, they did talk about 40,000 vehicles. So that would include.
That's a few trucks.
It is.
So with the Army looking at hybrid drives, this is still a traditional diesel hydraulic
drive. Yeah. So we have, like I talked about with MAN. A lot of folks are interested in the different technologies for hybrid. Exportable power was another thing. So all of these things we're considering for the next go round. We want to find out whether it is a threshold requirement or an objective requirement. We're posturing ourselves to be able to do all these different things. And our partner, GM Defense, has some technologies as well that we're looking.
But the current RFP didn't say be prepared to drop in a hybrid motor or anything.
It didn't necessarily, no. It did say that these are desired capabilities to think about for the next go round. So that's pretty much where it was left.
Fire extinguisher. Oh, a winch.
Yes, it's got a winch. Yep.
For getting itself out of trouble or getting this back on?
It's a self-recovery winch. This is made by Sebson. What's good about this is part of some of the things we're talking about too is, although this is a European truck, a lot of the companies have presence in Europe and they have presence in America.
Right.
So, we would love to have additional American content on there. Of course, Michelin is pretty much a standard across the board, and there are other similarities throughout. So that would shorten the supply chain and allow us to be able to support the vehicle from the United States a little bit better. So we're looking at all different components for the next go round.
Do I need to fill up both tanks separately? I need to go around with the hose?
Yeah, you got to fill them separately. They don't interchange. This is a unique thing to us. So on the legacy fleet for the HEMMTT, tires up on top. You ever see it?
Yeah.
And you've got to really, it's like a 500-pound tire, right? So there's a hoist, you pull aside and put it down. This one, you have the option to do it manually or hydraulically. So there's systems here that operate it, and this tire will just come right down and lay on the ground, and you can put it back up and change the tire. It's a great feature. And in fact, for the line haul tractor, we have two different tires.
Yeah.
And we were able to put one of each of those tires in this space. They're a little bit smaller and have that same functionality. So really saves on the soldiers having to
I believe it.
do all that additional work.
So I did the M26 Dragon Wagon. It had a similar thing. From 1943.
Okay.
Same thing. It had a sort of a swing out arm that you could. It was hand cranking. It wasn't hydraulic.
Yeah. So we have
But
both
it did the same
in case
thing,
it fails as a backup.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Side radar prototype.
Yes, it's truly a prototype truck. So there's additional things we want to do for the next go around that will be more permanent items.
So how will it differ, do you think, then, between what you have now and what's going to be fielded en masse?
It really just it's based on the requirement. The government clearly said they wanted to take the best of breed. So the competition that we did for the prototypes was very clandestine. Our folks were not allowed to leave the trailer.
Yeah.
They were only allowed to service their own vehicle. So we don't really know what other people offered. But whatever the requirements read for this next go round, we're all going to try to go towards that. So we're just waiting for that. We'll see it in September, as I mentioned.
Requirements seems to be a very common theme while I'm up here in Detroit this week.
That's what
if there's not a requirement for it, they don't put the money or the effort in. Is there a tea maker?
A tea maker?
Coffee maker. Can you make coffee in this thing?
We do have a USB in there.
Okay.
So you can plug your thing in and charge up your phone.
Better than nothing.
So
what's the ladder for?
The ladder. So if you need to climb up on top, so you're pretty tall, you can get pretty close. Or if you want to go all the way top, there's a hatch up on top.
Can you for a caliber 50 or something?
Yeah. Yep. So or you can go through the center. So another requirement that they had was the old trucks just had 2 seats. This one has 3 seats.
Yeah.
So you can have like a gunner seat right in the middle, and so you can pop up through the hatch and do your business, come back down. So it's works well with pros and other systems, and it's designed to do that. This is an armored cab.
Yeah.
We don't have an unarmored cab that we presented during the trials. We just did the 3 armored.
Well, the way the Army's going, I don't think they would have looked at an unarmored cab these days. So was that not a requirement?
So we had an option to do either one. Yeah. But I think what they really wanted was that's a good question, because they wanted a baseline and say, most of your trucks can be unarmored. We just want one that is armored.
Yeah.
So a lot of that was for the weight, to see how it would operate with the weight, and to see if you could do it. So they want to have a swappable cab as their concept. So we're already ready for that. So we've already present that.
That sounds very FMTV-ish.
It is. It is very FMTV. Yeah.
Well, I think it's about time we took advantage of the air conditioning,
Yes,
which has now
does
been
have air
installed in
conditioning.
Army vehicles,
Okay.
and have a look inside. Ah. Let's see. No, that's not right. These are the bottoms. Very dangerous parking lot, you know. See how the 5-point works.
Very good. Yeah.
Does this mean that the Army won't have to wear the helmets inside anymore? All right, well, I will grant you this is secure. Are the seats the sort of the mine blast protection as well?
Yeah. This seat, this one doesn't have it, but we actually have a seat that you can fold down, and it has a platform on the back of it.
Oh, so you can stand up in a hatch here?
Yeah, you have a weapon mount. Yeah, first thing you probably noticed is how comfortable it is.
Looks like a regular truck.
Cool. It's got all the
Where's the CD player? I see unknown music.
Apple CarPlay,
Okay.
so you can.
Yeah, I can connect to my Sirius XM. And was a sat nav? I mean, see, map sat nav. Is that just a commercial one, or is that one that can be integrated with the military system that will have phase lines and things like that?
I think that's just commercial.
That's just a commercial one.
Yep. So it has that that monitor there for like the bird's eye
top down view. Yeah.
So after you get going over 9 miles an hour, it's gonna zoom out.
Mm-hmm.
So once you hit 25, it'll shut off.
Shut off. So where do you put your rifle?
We'll have mounts and stuff that we can put in here. Again, you know, this was not built specifically for, you know, those things during this portion of the trial. So, you know, we'll have entrenching tool and all the rest of the regular gear that goes to the vehicle for the next go round. But we did have an op demo, and it did really well. And get a lot of positive comments, mostly about the comfort of the vehicle.
Maybe in a tanker too long. It's kind of where's my backpack go, because it obviously doesn't go on the back. So
yeah. So again, so there's stuff that could go up there. And the European Army, they have a storage space up top. Yeah. So we have to figure out how we want to do that. And that's some of the feedback we actually wanted from the op demo. We didn't get that.
We do have a muscle rack behind the scab that'll hold up to 12.
oh, that's not bad then. So I mean, the steering wheel looks like your standard. You just lifted it off a commercial truck.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is off of TG3.
So that's the man symbol, that lion in the center there.
The old MAN.
Yep.
So I heard you asking about PMCS.
Yes.
Your fluid checks
Mhm.
and your light checks can be done right from the screen here. You just hit a button and it'll run through, check your fluids for you, run all the lights, and if you have a fault, it'll pop up and let you know which light is faulty.
I mean, I don't see any particularly surprising buttons. I mean, obviously you got the PLS, well, that's fair. But I mean, just to go off road, do you even have a mode selector for the type of off road you're doing, or?
So right here, I can select different driving modes. So right now, by default, it's efficiency,
Okay.
but I can select off-road, and it changes the shift pattern of the transmission. You can select performance. That's more if you're driving in heavy traffic. You know, you need to pass somebody on the highway or something. More for aggressive driving. Maneuver. That's if we need to, say, connect to a trailer or something. We can make very fine adjustments.
Oh, okay.
Then we have low range for, you know, if you're really stuck or got to climb a steep hill.
So how low will the CTIS go?
It'll go all the way down to sand. And then we also have the diff lock switch right here. So if I hit the center button, it'll turn it to all-wheel drive.
Mhm.
And then I can also see it'll pop up on the screen.
Oh yeah, which one's a
So
lot?
then I can gradually increase the diff locks as I need to. So I can lock the transverse axles together And then the last setting is full axle lock.
Which it obviously doesn't like on pavement.
It'll give you a warning that the full diff lock is on and your steering.
So if you're driving and wheels start slipping, will it automatically put more power to the traction wheels that aren't slipping?
Yeah. Yep. And you can shut that off if you want to as well. You have switches here.
Little cargo space, put some things in there. But in the legacy fleet, all the radios are kind of up here. So
Yeah.
we got to figure out, again, you thought, I mean, everything from Dukes to, Blue Force Tracker, whatever. We got to figure out how we could figure it in here. So still can have 2 or 3 personnel inside.
It was an issue when I was in. We had some of the early MATVs that hadn't been, first UNA issued. It's kind of like, okay, the radio's down here.
Yeah.
I'm in a 5-point harness.
Yeah.
I can't even see what frequency I'm set for.
Yes.
And so, that doesn't work.
As far as driving controls, everything is designed for the operator to be able to reach right with his 5-point harness on.
All right, well, it's
Controls, heated mirrors, heated windshield.
heated seats.
So, not yet.
So what's this hole for back here?
That's for overpressure with the MBC system.
Oh, so this thing will come with an NBC system as well?
It has one, yeah.
Anything you plug the masks into, like a tank, or is it just...
No, that's all overpressure.
All right, well, let's see what it's like going around. I was going to say roll down the window and holler at him, but then we're going to go for a quick spin.
Okay.
You just shift right here from the...
And what was that?
makes it
Oh,
nice.
handbrake?
This is just your handbrake, which just makes it nice if you have like multi-point turn to do. You don't have to keep reaching down or
yeah.
looking for a button.
I gotta be careful getting out.
I've always been scared to death of these armored doors that my finger is going to get caught in one. The tank hatch never a problem, but these things...
It locks, so you shouldn't have to worry about it.
Even if you're on a side slope?
Well, there are conditions for everything, right?
Actually, it wasn't so hard. And that brings us to a tour of the HX Common Tactical Truck here at American Rheinmetall. I'd like to thank them for letting me crawl over it, Dave for showing me around.
Absolutely, anytime.
I'm looking forward to coming back and seeing what the next variant is.
Good, good. We welcome you back.
All right, hope you found it all interesting and informative. Take care, I'll talk to you on the next one. Oh bugger, the truck is on fire.